flower crowns and all this stuff. And then my hand, and my face, and then my hands.
And then you could say to people, guys, it's a character choice.
Yeah.
This incident was not included in her DVRO filing. It was in a declaration for the motion to dismiss. And this is where she does outline what happened on this particular incident. And it goes on to state that Johnny had picked another fight with her, threw a decanter at her, knocked items around the room and punched the wall, slapped her hard, grabbed her by the hair, dragged her from the stairwell to the office, to the living room, to the kitchen, to the bedroom, and then the guest room. Not exaggerating, that's actually the sequence of events in the motion to dismiss. And whilst doing this, large chunks of her hair was pulled out of her scalp of her head. He had followed her, he hit her in the back of her head, grabbed her by the hair again, dragged her up the last few stairs. At the top of the stairs, Johnny shoved her twice. She told him that he had broken her wrist and to try and get him to stop. Johnny kept hitting her. She stood up and looked Johnny in the eye, to which Depp actually says, "Oh, you think you are effing tough guy?" He reeled back and headbutted her in her face, bashing her nose that immediately began to bleed. She thought she would need to go to hospital. She told him that she wanted to leave and would call the police if he touched her again. As she walked away, he grabbed her and pulled her from one room to the next, gripping her by her hair. The fight now was in their bedroom, where Depp kneed her on her back and the other foot on the bed frame and repeatedly punched her in her head and screamed how much he hates her. The bed frame had splintered at this point under the weight of his boot, and Depp hit her with his closed fists. Rocky and Melanie came to her aid and called nurse Erin. Raquel and Melanie helped cover up the bruises. 2 days later, she went for a concussion check, and Lisa Beane, a nurse that saw her, and I gotta do a quick sidebar here. Lisa Beane is actually not a nurse, according to David Kipper. She was a secretary, and according to Monroe Tinker, who was the actual nurse that was treating Amber Heard, she was the office manager. The best way I can probably bring together both accounts of Tinker and Kipper to what her role was, it was far from a nurse, but it seems more of she began as a secretary. That's how David Kipper remembers her or known her as the most, because that's how she started. But along the way, she got a promotion to being an office manager. She made similar allegations, just less hitting, less detailed. She alleged that because of this hair pulling, that blood was coming out. There was blood all over the apartment, and there was even blood on the bed. She actually said this.
I thought I probably had a concussion, and certainly thought I had a broken nose. There was blood everywhere, blood all over those pillows.
Now, all of these incidents can have explanations that's grounded in reality. However, and I must stress this, with the time that her friends and Amber Heard, Melanie, Josh, Ayo, and on top of that, Raquel Pennington, the time that they had to take pictures, it is not boding well that you don't have pictures of the bed that you said that there was blood and sheets on.
Did you personally observe that day this injury on Ms. Heard's face in December 25th?
I did.
And you said before you were there when Ms. Pennington was taking the photos?
Yes.
What's this a picture of, Ms. Pennington?
This is a picture of the platform bed in the bedroom of penthouse 4. The edge of the platform bed has a shard of wood that has broken off onto the floor.
Did you take this picture?
Yes.
When did you take it?
Either the night of the event or the next day.
That is really bad form and just doesn't make sense why anybody would miss that if they were taking pictures. And if you're already thinking in your head, I need to go to the police. What was the purpose of taking the pictures on this particular occasion? I'm not saying that she shouldn't have. That's far from the point. If anyone are in this particular position, I encourage you to take pictures as much as you want. What I do not encourage is inquiring with your therapist if there is an advantage of you going to the police first. Erin advised to go to the emergency room if injured or felt like she was in danger. However, Amber refused at first, going to see Dr. Kipper, saying Rocky is with her and can do it by herself, and Depp won't be able to enter the home. Okay, I do want to take a sidebar here to address something, because she has been claiming that Depp's employees has been working to her detriment. She has been also been claiming that they will not tell the truth and they also will lie in order to protect him from anything whatsoever. Erin Felatti puts brakes on the tracks right here, because we are reading her notes where she is recording. Yes, you're saying that these things happen to you. She's recording saying go to the hospital, etc. The previous claim in which she said to Bonnie Jacobs saying she can't go to the hospital because of the pure fact that it will bring media attention, but she's not saying that she's not going to go to hospital because she's afraid of media attention. She is just now saying, no, I'm not going to go to hospital. Raquel is here with me. So she has what medical expertise does Raquel have? That if Raquel was a nurse, I would actually understand. Based on this, it just doesn't make sense. The avenues of going to the hospital was actually suggested to her when she was actually going forward with any problems with Depp. She just declines. We must also note that Erin is Amber Heard's personal nurse. She has not heard any physical abuse, any sort of abuse until this day. On the 17th of December, Erin Felatti noted that she actually saw Amber Heard and that she had visible blood on her lip, to which she explained this was from Depp. This was the 16th going in. To recap again, to understand this timeline, the incident likely occurred on the 15th at likely 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock based on Melanie's account of them needing to go and do bowling. They were supposed to go bowling, but she didn't show. From here, she messages Dr. Cowan. He was likely the second person that he messaged, because that was at 12:03 a.m. on the 16th of December. The evidence here from Dr. Cowan is actually conclusive. In the message, she notes that she's going on the James Corden show that night of the 16th, and she has 2 black eyes. She also placed a call to Laura Anderson. The time is unknown. Within this call, Amber actually does admit to slapping Depp as he was talking about being with other women, and during this, she was saying that he was incoherent. Right? Incoherent. Moving on, and also that Depp had bruised her face, kicked her in the leg, hit her in her leg. Please note that this is the first of anywhere, not to Cowan, not to Erin, not to anybody but Lauren Anderson, that he kicked her. She also inquires if she would have an advantage by filing the abuse first. 16th of December rolls by, and at this point, Samantha McMillan enters the fray, and she says that she was with Amber all through the afternoon and the evening and did not see her with any black eyes as per with witness statement and declaration. Amber responds to this in the UK case with saying she gave her a hug and held her while she cried. This, of course, does corroborate with Melanie's testimony. We don't know the details of her crying. With the concussion check that was done on the 17th of December, it was actually specifically noted that the time was 23:00, meaning it was quite late at night. And I do think this is the night previously on the 16th. I do think this is a day late. That's just my take. I don't know the accuracy of the dates provided here. It is very important to note that yes, she sees the lip bleeding. It was cross-corroborated by Melanie. There was a gash, but Melanie also corroborates and says there was a slight discoloration. There is nothing to note this in Erin's notes. There is no mention of black eyes in the notes. There is messy hair being mentioned. All this most likely happened from the early hours of 1 a.m. until 12 midday before she saw Samantha McMillan on the 16th of December. Again, there is no black eyes to be seen, but there is a lip that's busted open. What she reported versus what was actually being witnessed. Like I said, Erin destroys the narrative of the employee because she is actually noting what could have been an abuse.
So I'd be doing this amazing, I'd be doing like a jump with a back bend, and you can see this like graceful falling, and my hands are like.
So anyways, the show is done, and the next day Amber does go to Dr. Laura Anderson. This was the 17th, who does recount seeing darkening, like a grayish bluish color. She notes that Amber did not mention that physical abuse actually occurred, but was discussing Christmas and how her therapist was telling her one thing. Dr. Cowan, based on communications, they likely had a session on the 17th of December 2015 where he notes to him that Depp had pushed her down, and she reported had gotten back up. So based on the communications with Anderson and based on the communications with Cowan, it seems more likely that she went to Dr. Laura Anderson after seeing Dr. Cowan, which again raises a lot more questions. When did she see Erin Felatti? It is very crucial, her movements here, because if she has seen Erin Felatti the night before, then why did Dr. Laura Anderson see the darkening in her eyes, and Dr. Cowan, who doesn't even note anything of that, when did that happen? There is no real time, and I'm just basing this on what I'm reading and based on the likelihood of who she's going to first and what she's doing next, because she does see Dr. Kipper, but again, there is no time to ascertain all of this. But it is all over the place, and if I was to give her the benefit of the doubt, she may have seen Dr. Laura Anderson first, and based on the time that was given by nurse Erin Felatti, that it was likely that she was the last destination, but again, that doesn't really help anything because she doesn't note any black eyes being the case. Why her hair is messy, but the lip being split is also now up to question, because nobody else saw the lip split. Dr. Cowan does not see the lip split. Dr. Laura Anderson does not see the lip split. This is what's really damning about this, because if these are in any way self-inflicted, because I'm sorry for going here, but that's just what is suggested with all the evidence present. She has a split lip with Melanie, etc., witnessing this. Well, she says she witnesses a gash, and she says that it kept opening and reopening.
When he punched me,
Strawberry jam.
it's bleeding in this picture. It kept reopening. It's a mouth. The lips move.
So the person that saw this actually happening, and even says through communications on Instagram, etc., that this was actually happening, was Melanie Iglesias. And also for the UK litigation, Melanie tried her best not to testify for that case. I actually have no idea why Erin picks up a split lip or an active bleeding lip, by the way, active bleeding. And yet this was missed by two different professionals who I would infer are trained to spot things like this very early on.
My name is Kari Jerge, and I am a dual board certified trauma critical care surgeon. So I'm a general surgeon in practice, and then I also do trauma critical care. So we see, as trauma surgeons, we get called down to the emergency room to see anything from shootings, stabbings, car accidents, assault cases, not uncommonly, and then things like child and elder abuse. If they have injuries, we end up taking care of those patients too. So we kind of see a very broad range of patients who have injuries, basically. Yeah, so as essentially kind of a side gig, as a passion project, I work with combat medics, and I do a fair bit of teaching and training in tourniquets and hemorrhage control. Would be helpful is we get called down to the emergency room as the trauma surgeon on call to take care of, at the current hospital that I'm working at, anything from pediatric patients to geriatric patients. And really, a good part of our initial evaluation is trying to figure out what the mechanism of the accident or injury was, because that helps us understand what tests and what images we need to order. And pretty much anybody who works down in the emergency room, when you see assault cases or you see a patient that comes in with injuries, part of our automatic thought process, because we are mandated reporters in a lot of cases, is we have to evaluate, does this injury profile, does this series of injuries match the story that the patient is telling us, or what they're claiming happened to them or stating happened to them. We always try to believe patients, but we also have to filter it through. If this patient is being abused and I miss it and I'm a mandated reporter, that's just heartbreaking. I mean, I don't think any of us would ever survive that kind of guilt. And so part of our natural professional role is, do the injuries that this patient have, do they match the story that they're telling me? So that's kind of a part of what we do for every patient that we see, but specifically cases of assault, or patients come in and don't remember what happened, or they have injuries where, oh, I fell, but they have an injury that doesn't really match with what you would expect to see from a fall. Injuries, bruises, cuts, scrapes, lacerations, wounds, open wounds from trauma should generally, as a general concept, should be easier to see on pale and or Caucasian skin. So looking at this, what you see, obviously, aside from the dark circles, which again, it happens to me too. So, we're all in this together. Those are unfortunate, but because usually when you have a punch to the eye, to the orbit, or you have something that hits your face, it's really hard to imagine how that could just have touched here and here without causing some surrounding swelling or some surrounding bruising. The other thing too is, when you have trauma to the eye, not uncommonly, the white of your eye also gets bruised. It's called a conjunctival hemorrhage. So the white of the eye will look red. And in fact, so if you're not a medical person and you've ever gotten super drunk and vomited your brains out all night long, and you wake up and your eyes are bloodshot, or there's a white part of your eye that looks red, it's literally from the rupture of a capillary, and it's the same thing. So you'll know what I'm talking about when I say the white of your eye turns red. When somebody headbutts you, this is a very broad surface area. It's hard for me to imagine a mechanism whereby this surface comes into contact with any, the nose or the orbit or anything like that. If I get hit here and the blood kind of leaks out of my capillaries, gravity is going to bring that down. So I would expect to see bruising and swelling kind of all across the nose, but also across the cheeks. And to me, again, these are poor pictures, so it's hard to say whether or not this happened when she says it happened. But to me, I would just question kind of, why is there not a broader pattern of bruising and swelling if that's what really happened?
Do you think that she has been headbutted based on her nose, like the way that the nose looks? Do you think that she has been headbutted probably 10 to 12, 20, 10 to 14 or 16 hours?
There might be a very slight bit of swelling around the nose, and that's, again, only because I know what her baseline looks like. So she might have some swelling, but again, why isn't there redness? Why isn't there bruising? Those would kind of be my questions from a place of curiosity, assuming that the mechanism is what she says it is. I would be curious to know why there's not broader areas of swelling and bruising and redness.
Would your opinion change if I was to say that she had an operation for a cyst in the eye?
That actually makes sense, because when you make surgical incisions and you're doing some kind of smaller, fine work, usually you'll see bruising or redness or whatever in a finer, smaller area. Because generally with assault, and again, unless somebody sticks a pencil or a finger in your eye, you don't see bruising like that. You usually will see a broader swath of bruising and swelling, because what's hit the face is this surface area or this surface area or this surface area, and those cause bigger areas of bruising and swelling.
Moving on, 19th of December 2015, Amber emails Laurel expressing how she's unable to get through to JD. Says that she feels the nuances of their complexities is a bit lost on him, meaning Dr. Cowan, which Laurel believes was her feeling of being known by Cowan in a more thorough way of behavior inside the relationship. So what this is suggesting is she understands that Dr. Cowan does know her behaviors a lot more than, let's say, Bonnie Jacobs. I don't think Bonnie Bonnie Jacobs knows our behaviors that well, that Dr. Cowan was not going to make a favorable impression on understanding what she's actually alleging. 19th of December, Erin messages Amber saying that she realizes that they're supposed to go onto the island. This is exactly what Amber is trying to get hold of Depp for, to go for the island. However, as we know, she has already said that Depp wasn't going to contact her because she knows that she was not going to forgive him. On the 20th of December 2015, Amber messages Dr. Cowan saying she doesn't feel strong enough. He wants to say bye to her, and he had come over to grab some things, and she doesn't want him to leave. On the 20th of December, this is very pivotal because she actually says that she wanted to leave him. She says on record that she wanted to leave him.
I told him that night I was going to leave him.
He was begging her not to leave, but it turns out that she was the one that was reporting. She reported this. Most likely, she is actually turning this incident around. In reality, she was begging for him to give her a second chance. We now have a rundown based on everything Amber Heard has said. What did Depp actually say in his UK statement? So he basically stated that it was Amber Heard that had actually attacked him and caused injuries to him through scratches and swellings. When he was cross-examined in the case, he reminded the UK court that her problem was him running away with the fight. He does actually admit to headbutting, but says that the reason why he was using this word was because she was using it. Every objective evidence does validate Depp's position and Depp's arguments for this, because again, in the audios for the divorce, where this was brought up,
somehow the end all be all is a very sort of offensive thing. You can throw a punch, screaming is okay. You can headbutt somebody screaming, but don't scream.
I headbutted you.
Couldn't believe you did that.
Forehead. That doesn't break a nose.
I don't know if you romance. I don't think you did. I don't think you broke it.
Don't think I broke it. I didn't touch it.
This was 5 months or 6 months or 7 months, roughly around that, after the incident, and again he's saying no. Kevin Murphy had claimed that Amber Heard had asked him to come and look at what Depp had done to her in regards to ripping off her hair, and showed him the hair that was done. He took a picture of this particular hair on the scene 1 hour after. Now, the Bahamas incident was not actually alleged in the declaration that she signed in her motion to dismiss for the VA case. It wasn't even on a witness statement that she gave to the UK court. It was only until Tara Roberts actually stepped into the scene to actually allege what had happened on the island and what she had witnessed on the island. That's when she gave a full account of this particular incident. I mean, it doesn't look good, but Tara Roberts had alleged that on the 29th of December that both Amber and Depp were in a really heated argument. She claimed that Amber Heard had showed up at her office and asked for Depp to go back into the house, to which prompted Tara to actually leave her office. Not long after that, she heard the vehicle start and she stepped outside, to which she saw Amber standing in front of the vehicle, screaming at him and apparently not letting him get away by blocking his path. Then she climbed into the vehicle. He drove her back to their house. She also said that she called Chrissy Dembowski, Depp's sister. She claims that in the fight, Amber was insulting him, calling him names such as "your career is over," "no one is going to hire you," "you're washed up fat," etc. This was all happening as she was on the phone to Christy because she was asking her what to do. He hung up and immediately ran to the parking lot. She saw Amber lunge at Johnny, clawing, tugging, and aggressively pulling him. She claimed he continued to stand there yelling at her to stop and leave him alone. She also adds that she never saw Johnny hit Amber or push her back, nor did he physically react to any of these attacks. She claimed that she would calm down and try to go for a hug and apologize. She also knows that Amber had removed her wedding ring and thrown it and had asked for help. That's very interesting regarding the wedding ring, because the audio of Depp throwing the wedding ring on the floor now makes sense why this would be a response to that.
Do you understand why 10 minutes downstairs didn't seem real?
I don't care.
Did you hear what I said?
I don't care. I don't care.
You do care.
There's plenty of things you've done, plenty of things you've done that were absolute lies.
I didn't
I'm not
ever.
even you about them. So anyway, I'm leaving. So I'll see you in a bit. Yeah?
Is that what matters?
Your lies?
Is this what matters to you, your party?
Your lies matter to me.
I never led you. And what we're talking about tonight is what? Who are you? Why? Why are you doing this?
I'm leaving. I'll be back.
Why?
Because I'm leaving.
What is it that is so important always to run away to? Why?
It's a runaway, yeah. I run because I'm a cop.
Why don't you stay? You asked me once not to leave, and I'm asking you. So why every 5 seconds do I get I'm leaving because there's a movie party I gotta go to? I have never prioritized you behind that. And you, of all people, all this talk about not being that guy, you have done nothing but over the last 2 days but tell me that your movie parties were more important, including the night before last. When I said to you the same thing, stay. And today you apologized, said I love you, I'm so sorry. And then today it takes you 2 seconds. It takes you 20 seconds at most to go, that, I hate you, I don't want to be with you, goodbye, I'm leaving, I'm running away. But I'm not running, I'm walking away.
Well, the one thing is for sure, I don't want to be with you. I don't. I really don't.
Then if you don't want to be with me in life,
Goodbye.
then you need to actually do it. You need to actually take off your ring and forget that 5 hours ago you said the opposite. Otherwise, you can't keep throwing that around. You can't keep saying to me that this is something you care about.
There you go.
Is that what it's worth to you?
Yeah. Yeah. For you, from all this, these rules, all these.
Rules? Because I asked you to stay?
Look, because
I asked you to stay.
No, because you're.
What was it? What was it when you asked me to
Because you're a
stay?
pain in the ass.
What was it when you asked me
I
to
can't
stay?
stand it no more.
What was it when you asked me to stay? In Australia, you said you promised me not to leave. You said you promised me not to leave. What did I do?
I thought you would change.
What did I do?
Not change.
What did I do?
Not change.
Did I stay or did I leave?
You changed.
Did I stay or did I leave?
You stayed and you didn't change and you were
Stayed.
in the ass and you were.
So I stayed, and I've been a ever since, which is why you told me
Pretty much.
about every other day how you couldn't imagine your life without me, including today. So,
When
which
you
guy,
said-
does that seem normal to
When
you?
you're
Does that
good,
seem
right?
normal to you? The guy, you told me tonight
Let
that
me-
you couldn't imagine your life without me, and now you're throwing your ring on the ground. Does that seem normal?
That's how you tell me.
That seems sober? You seem
Give me
normal?
the definition of normal. You.
Does that seem normal?
You.
Does that seem normal to you?
Borderline personality disorder.
I'm borderline personality disorder now.
Without question.
When I've been consistent all night saying, don't go, don't f this all up. I'm not fighting with you anymore.
In response to Tara's testimony, Amber had claimed that there were several fights on the island. She claims that it was Johnny that was charging at her. She's basically saying here that she was throwing a paint thinner in self-defense because Johnny was charging at her. She claims that Johnny had co-opted with her and grabbed her by the ear and yanked her all around and hitting her in the face as she tried to gain balance. She did not deny jumping on top of. She did not deny anything that Tara said in terms of jumping on top of the car vehicle as Johnny was trying to leave. All those things, she didn't deny it. She just alleges more incidents that actually happened on this occasion. But the most interesting part about all of this, in this witness statement, she basically says that Johnny was begging her to go to the island with her. We saw those text messages, and we know for a fact he was not doing the begging. She was. Like I said, she just completely turned this whole thing around because she knows that she was losing him, and she was trying to convince him whichever way that she does best. It could have been, as Dr. Blaustein posited in his deposition, makeup sex as Depp at report. It could have been anything. We don't know. But what is apparent was they went to the island, and this is what happened in terms of what Tara is claiming, to which she doesn't really deny. She just goes around the topic and only explains one part of it, which is the paint supplies and all of that. But it's very conclusive in the sense that we have already seen the text messages that showed that she was trying her best to go on the island and try and find out what's going on with that. That doesn't scream of someone that's trying to beg her to go with him. It's a direct opposition to what she's claiming right here in court under oath.
Amber, I lost a finger, man. Come on. I had a mineral can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge thinks. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
yes.
It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
All these incidents are connected. We see on the 13th of January 2016, that she does report to Laura Anderson that she was hiding in the bathroom to actually escape from Depp. There is only one account anywhere of there being somebody hiding in the bathroom. I don't know how to take this incident, because in the witness statement she does mention going into the bathroom. She also mentions that he breaks into the bathroom and chokes her up to the wall and puts her on the wall. That's it. There is no account of hiding in the bathroom. This is another catch-22 with Laurel Anderson, because now I'm wondering, where is this bathroom incident ever even cited? There is no record of her hiding in the bathroom. The only time that she even alleges that she was hiding in the bathroom was to say in the audio where Depp was saying that he was the one hiding in the bathroom. So that's the only time, and this was for Toronto, not even Bahamas. I truly don't know how to process this, and I've refrained from calling anything here a lie, but this has to be a blatant lie, and it's provably lie. At this time, it's not an inconsistent statement where I can look at and say, actually, based on this, she didn't allege this before, but she's alleging this now. But this one is an actual lie, in the sense that she was accounting for one incident to have happened in the bathroom, and on top of that doesn't account for the hiding in the bathroom or when that would possibly happen, but actually goes on to tell Laura Anderson not the incident that she was accounting later on in the future. But that's not even the issue. Not that she didn't tell her, or she had to tell her, like I've always said, but she did mention the bathroom that this incident supposedly took place. But she's saying that she was the one that was hiding in it and she wasn't doing anything, and the only thing that she did was throw a kind of paint at him, and turns around to say that it was done in self-defense, which could have been the case. That's actually the sad part about this case. Most of these things could have happened somewhere, I don't know, but based on all I've seen and analyzing this case in its totality, there is nothing to actually suggest that little fine line of there's an element of truth to there, because most of this is just not credible. There are messages to say that at the time he was actually suggesting that there was nail varnish.
I was waiting for her to dispense with that Kleenex because I didn't trust it. And so I waited, and then I pulled the Kleenex out of the trash, and I inspected it pretty closely and realized that it was nail polish, nail varnish.
The whole time. The whole time.
I think Depp was actually trying to leave her. I think the account from her saying that he was looking for other women is actually a true account. She reacted violently, and Depp was just trying to restrain her. Here we have Depp trying to go to see his daughter.
And let's not do this anymore, because I'm really getting frustrated. And I'm really, really, really sick of this argument.
Stop, I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me go, and you go, and I'll speak to you in a couple hours. Okay? Okay?
Stop. Okay.
Why are you saying stop?
May I go? Please, it causes me so much stress when you leave, when you walk away from me with that. It's like you don't understand how much worse you're making this.
I can't believe this.
Please, you're making it worse for me.
Okay, I'm sorry for you.
Please, I'm only trying to tell you so that you know you're causing me immense stress right now when you walk away like that. There's no reason to be mad.
Well, then say goodbye. I haven't walked away. You're not saying goodbye. You won't let me leave. Let me leave.
Oh my God. Stop rushing me! Stop pushing me in the corner and then poking me with a stick and then saying, why aren't you saying the words you want me to say? Stop poking me! Stop rushing me! Stop throwing me against the wall and going, what? You don't like that wall? You don't like the f***ing wall? Stop pushing me!
Remember, I'm not pushing you. I'm not rushing you. I said, I need space. I don't want this conversation anymore right now. I need space. And I will take my space. Whether you like it or not, I will take it. And you will take your space. But this is not, bro. This is not happiness. This is not.
Please stop doing this. Please, you're causing me so much fucking stress. I'm gonna die at this age. I'm gonna fucking die. You're causing me so much stress. Please stop. Please, I feel like I have a heart attack almost every day. Please stop. Please stop doing it. Please stop. He's so mean. You're bully. Stop. Please stop. I've been begging you not to fight. I just said, can we please have a normal argument? Just even a normal conversation. Normal argument. And for the last hour, I've been begging you to please just leave it at that. Let's just go on with our night. I would have been able to come in with you. We would have been able to let it go in a few minutes. It would have been fine. If we allowed ourselves to have fucking normal arguments. Please, you're killing me with this. You're killing me. You're killing me.
It's you and Mr. Depp in the recording, correct, Ms. Heard?
That's correct.
You just won't let him go, will you?
That's not true. We were outside of his studio and he wanted to go and use. It was a pretext. The claim that he was upset with me was a pretext so that he would go on a bender. I knew that pattern by the time this recording happened.
Anyone buy testimony now that you were outside Mr. Depp's studio?
I believe that
he was going to go
use. Excuse me?
He was going to go use drugs? That's your testimony now?
We were outside his studio, his man cave house, if you will, in the car, I believe, during that recording.
And he was going to go inside and use?
That was the pattern. And as you can hear from my voice, I'm very, very, very scared of entering into the next cycle under what I had been conditioned to understand we were at that point in our relationship.
That's not true, is it, Ms. Heard? Mr. Depp was trying to go inside his house to see his daughter, Lily Rose.
She might have been over that day, but
So
that's not
it's your
what he was
testimony
getting out of
now?
the car to do, and that's not what I was stopping him from doing.
Let's play the beginning part of that recording where Mr. Depp tells you that he wants to go inside to see his daughter.
I want it just to. Why don't you just say, okay, baby, I understand. I'll go home and you do your thing, hang out with your daughter, and then I'll see you in a couple hours and we'll talk about it. Is it that difficult to say that? Or you just hate me and you want to be shitty about it? Please. Just, it's not that difficult. Okay? I don't want to stand here in a driveway and argue with you. Okay, well, I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Please? Please. Just let me know if you're gonna go somewhere. Just let me know, please, so I know.
And almost an hour later, you're still arguing with Mr. Depp outside, right?
I don't know how long that argument lasted, no.
This is from February 10, 2016. And I'm going to ask you to play it.
It's my perception that she's trying to frame that video as he's mad at people that aren't there. Yep. Look at Emily. It's like we know things.
Again with this.
Oh. TMZ, this is not your video. Don't copyright strike my video again.
Hold on to your hats, everybody. Johnny assaults some cabinets. It's really terrifying.
She said she was terrified it was going to turn on her. That's what she just testified to.
What happened?
She said she was scared coming into this interaction.
They are dragging this out as long as possible, aren't they, Stephanie?
Get it, stupid cabinet.
Nothing happened this morning, you know that?
Those are his cabinets, by the way. You are allowed to break your own stuff.
No.
Nothing happened to you.
You're right, I just woke up and you were so sweet and nice.
That's not what she just said.
We were not even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
Did something happen?
It's not about
You.
you.
This morning? I don't think so.
That cup is in so many.
Honestly, crazy.
That cup is in so many of the videos. Mega pint.
Oh, you're crazy.
Yep.
This is actually the origin of
Have you
my
drunk this whole thing this morning?
You got this going? Oh, really? Really?
Why? So nothing happened to her this morning. So Johnny Depp was having a bad day.
Didn't it? You were smashing.
I think we just switched to amber camera.
Okay. There we go. Mega pints, everybody. Mega pints, everybody. Cheers.
You must have also heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the version of the cabinet video that TMZ received was incomplete compared to the video the jury saw in this trial. Did you hear that?
The video that that you have seen is complete.
Right. But the one TMZ got the day before your deposition in the divorce was incomplete.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
He testified that at the beginning portion of the video where you set up the camera, that wasn't included in the video that TMZ received.
I don't know what video TMZ
I'm talking
received.
about Mr. Tremaine's testimony, Ms. Heard. Let's just
So you're
focus on
asking me
Mr.
to
Tremaine.
repeat his testimony?
No, I'm asking you if you recall hearing him say those words to this jury.
Yes, I heard his testimony. We all did.
And he testified that the end of the video where you can be seen smirking. I know you testified earlier that you haven't been smirking in this trial, but you sure were caught on camera smirking in that video.
I disagree with that.
Was also not included in the TMZ video.
Everyone can watch that video and you can determine whether you think it's funny to me or not.
That's because the video came from you, right, Ms. Heard?
No, it did not.
You
That
edited
video
out
did
the
not
portions.
come to me.
Ms.
Come
Heard,
from me.
Ms. Heard, you edited out the portions that made you look bad before sending it to TMZ.
You're very wrong about that.
So
If
that
I
only
wanted to
Mr.
leak
Depp
information, I
looked
could have
bad.
done it in a more effective way, a lot sooner and a lot more.
Because you
I
knew
was
exactly
living
how to
with
do
a
that,
mountain
right?
of this evidence. If I wanted to leak it, I could have done a lot more with it.
That's not
I thought you
really what
testified
you
earlier
on the
in this
stand.
trial that you don't know how to leak things.
I don't.
She's imploding like this.
You edited that video before you
can't
gave it to
believe
TMZ so that
they
only
left
Mr.
her this
Depp would look
vulnerable.
bad. Yes?
That's absurd.
Right in the middle of your divorce proceedings.
Again, you're very wrong.
This isn't lawyerly indignation. Camille looks
to show you,
genuinely
a
pissed.
picture.
From some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
What does it take for TMZ to obtain a copyright over something received directly from a source?
Something in the realm of 15 minutes just to do what I described before, which is putting bumpers and a bug on something and write the article and post it. It's pretty fast.
How much time had passed from the time you received the kitchen cabinet video to the time it was posted on TMZ?
About 15 minutes.
Your attorney filed a document in court yesterday stating that, quote, an emergency has arisen which requires ex parte relief, end quote. Would you like to see a copy of this document?
I would.
Yeah, I will.
Do you, before I show you the copy of the document, do you know
Your 36 minutes is up.
what any emergency, was there any emergency yesterday that you had?
Objection, harassing.
Did you have, did you have any emergency, Ms. Heard?
Yeah, we're out of time.
We're at time. Deposition's over.
Thank you.
All right, that'll do it, folks.
Thank you.
I'm not adjourning this deposition yet.
Move on to the next incident. That is the incident around her birthday celebration. Regarding this incident, here is a report by Amber's nurse, Erin. It stipulates that on the 21st of April 2015, the night of Amber's birthday, notes that client invited the resident nurse in to dinner party at 20:00 at her home in downtown Los Angeles to celebrate her birthday, as Amber Heard will be attending Coachella Music Festival on the day of her birthday. Erin arrived with UK assistant Savannah at 21:00, meaning she was actually late for the party by an hour. Amber appears irritable and upset. Amber reports being angry with husband JD because he is late. Erin provides reassurance that JD would arrive. He goes on to note what she ate and consumed, which was Amber eating 75% of the dinner, consumed several, and I repeat, several glasses of red wine. Amber states, I can't believe he, which is JD in this case, isn't here yet, stating, he keeps saying, which is JD, he is on his way, but he still hasn't shown up. Amber's husband, JD, arrives at 10:15. So in all this period, it was 2 hours and 15 minutes he was late for, and he appears in good spirits and greets clients' guests. During dinner, Amber and JD sitting next to each other and appear affectionate towards one another. Erin socialized with JD for 45 minutes. JD appears coherent, orientated, and sociable. Thought process logical and clear. Erin discusses Amber's birthday trip to Coachella with Amber. She states she wants JD to drive to Coachella with her for a birthday dinner there, and then he will return to Los Angeles. Upon this statement, Depp states the following: yeah, she wants me to drive all the way there just to have dinner. That really makes sense. Amber and Depp appeared to be cordial, but they were visibly irritated. Amber told guests that she was tired and escorted the guests out to the door to leave at around 12:30. It's so important to note that in the account of this incident, Depp did say that he was going through a bit of financial trouble with his previous business managers, the Mandels, so he was trying to sort that out, and that was what the business meeting was about. The next day, Erin knows that Amber Heard fears the end of her relationship with Depp. So what actually happened between the 21st and the 22nd of April 2016 that could have possibly caused Amber to fear that the relationship with Depp was over? I mean, he was late to dinner. What else could have occurred after she sent everyone away saying that she was tired? Amber's testimony in both UK, US, and she stated in a 2019 declaration in the motion to dismiss that Depp threw at her a magnum-sized bottle against the wall, also grabbed her by the shoulders and shoved her to the floor. And before going into more details regarding her version of events, I would not be touching on Coachella. For full disclosure, Raquel did actually say that while she was with her, that she actually saw Amber to be the one that was vomiting, not necessarily Whitney that was vomiting. This corroborates what Starling Jenkins saw as well, but all of that is neither here or there. We know what happened with Coachella.
And did you observe anything about Miss Heard's health that weekend?
Yeah, she had a healthy colon.
She got sick.
Do you know
She
what?
got sick at the venue second night. She was eating the magic mushrooms and drinking red wine on an empty stomach. I saw the room service and I went to their room to collect them to take them out that evening.
So is that something?
Super chat from
Is
Elaine
that something you
Berhoff.
witnessed?
I
She's
witnessed
watching on a court laptop. No, I'm kidding.
She didn't want anyone else to know that she was sick. Take her back to the Parker alone. I took her to the 7-Eleven where I retrieved hydrating fluids, Advil, and let her have those. Got her back to the Parker, got her into the suite, and then went back to pick up everyone else.
And Mr. Jenkins, when you said Miss Heard got sick, do you recall what her symptoms were?
Yeah, she was throwing up.
Rob, you got some questions too.
He picked us up from Coachella in the evening when we, as a group, all were ready to leave. That was the day that we went, which was the day that I took MDMA and mushrooms at the same time.
When you said you rode back with Starling Jenkins, was it just you or did you have other people in the vehicle with you?
When we left Coachella, it was my entire group. I wasn't ever alone with Starling. I certainly wasn't anywhere near him. I didn't have a conversation with him. I sat in the very back seat with my best friend next to me, and it was a whole group of us.
it is a great time to go back to the Australia incident. Remember when Depp profusely exclaimed that Amber had ordered MDMA? Well, this is proof. The proof is here. There is proof that she was actually ordering MDMA. In fact, 9 to 10 days prior. So there's actually a record here of her telling Erin that she's gonna procure drugs, MDMA and mushroom for a Coachella trip. She also admits to that on the stand about doing this. What she doesn't say on the stand is her booking it ahead of time. There is enough here to reasonably infer that this is what she prefers to do things ahead of time. Thing that she is, that's how she is. She likes things done in a certain way. So it's not hard or even out of the realm of possibility that her doing this on this occasion is the same thing that Depp was trying to say happened, that she actually told him order with Nathan Holmes so that when I get there, when all of that is considered, it does make sense why the drug use. I know she denies it profusely and says she never done drugs, etc. But based on this and based on the fact that this was after the event, based on the fact that you are pre-ordering these drugs, it's really hard for me to believe that you did not do the same with Depp to pre-order it for him to have ready for you to come and enjoy. Anyway, back to the incident. Audio tape from the divorce that was detailing this particular incident, and it references Coachella.
Okay, I don't want a divorce.
We don't? How do I know which one?
I don't want a divorce. I never wanted a divorce.
Really?
I never wanted a divorse. I didn't want you to go to Coachella without talking to me, because I left you because you were you haymakered me, man. You came around the bed to start punching on me.
In the nurse's report, it actually does note that he was already annoyed with this because he wasn't doing what exactly he wanted her to do. The same thing with the post-nup. She didn't want to do it, and because he was insistent on it, and yeah, it escalated to something. But in this particular instance, it's the same thing. And in the audio that she haymakered him, and you can also see in the text message to DeppVHeard about this particular haymaker reference, that he just couldn't handle any of this anymore and was breaking up with her as a result. However, Amber goes on to say that Depp was actually drunk. Interestingly, she does not mention that he was drunk in the VA case. There's a case to be made here for weaponization of addictions and alcoholism, but I don't want to pass judgment, so let's just move on. Further additions to this account includes the severity of the claim, considering it had gone from shoving her onto the bed and grabbing her hair to now being grabbed by the pubic bone, punched, but it was unspecified as to where she was punched. There is nothing in the confidential annex to reflect this accusation in the VA case, because she never made this accusation in the UK case, where it would be deemed as confidential like all other SA allegations. While looking at this, maybe the UK case can shed some light on this and bring some kind of equilibrium to this entire incident. She now says in the UK case that she scraped her knees on the broken glass. So let me get this straight. You can't recall whether the bottle smashed or not, but somehow your knees was scraped. Okay, anyway, here is her at Coachella. Why don't we just ask the question, if you don't know whether the bottles were smashed, how did you get scrapes of glass on your knee? God. Of course, in the VA case, this completely changed, as we don't know whether the bottle smashed. There was nothing about glass scraping her knees this time, nothing. I'm just extremely confused about her account, so let me just put that on hold and hear what her friends would have to say in regards to this. Josh Drew said that Depp has slurred his speech a little, but he's good at hiding the alcohol intake. So that's score 1 for sober, I would say, and score 1 for drunk. So even things out. Josh Drew also saw Amber Heard drink wine. Next is Melanie Iglesias, and she was there for the birthday event, and says that she saw Amber Heard drunk a lot of wine. And when asked about Depp, she replied with Depp was fine and was pretty much like himself. After this, Raquel Pennington also says that Depp was actually fine, and this was said in a deposition. back in 2016.
But the truth, Raquel, is you saw her drinking wine throughout the course of the evening. Is that correct? And that would be fair to say because it's true, correct?
That I saw her drinking wine?
Yes, throughout the evening.
Throughout the evening?
Yes, okay.
By impaired, can you elaborate on what that means?
Her physical state being altered by the effects of whatever she had ingested, if it was alcohol or if it was something else. And is it also true that you did not notice Johnny to be impaired at any time that you saw him on April 21st?
I did not notice that he was impaired at any time in the night.
She also did not note that Depp anything about Amber's perfect A double snakes. There's two people that said that Depp was sober. There's one person that said that Depp was drunk, and there's also two people that said that didn't make any comments in regards to Amber's perfect A double snakes. With all these things considered, in comes Whitney Enriquez, or in this case Whitney Heard, who is Amber Heard's baby sister, and she goes on to say that Depp was very drunk. Also says that Depp had made a comment about Amber's A double snakes being perfect and round. So with this considered, yeah, 2 for him being drunk and 2 for the perfect A double snakes comment being made. Again, Melanie doesn't hear the A double snakes comment being made. Raquel Pennington doesn't hear the A double snakes comment being made. We have a deadlock here in a way because all of these people are hearing. It seems to be in an alternate universe that this could actually exist where all these people could hear the same thing and not hear the same thing. There is no way around this because there is no movement being seen or made by the people and the guests. Everyone was at the table eating dinner. So it would be reasonable to infer all of these people would have heard something like this unless one of them was wearing headphones, completely intoxicated. I don't know. But none of these things were reported. So it becomes something that I have to go for an objective source, and the only objective source I can find is Erin Borum. And Erin Borum, Amber's nurse, yes, I understand, Depp's employee, so you can make the argument if you want. She doesn't record him being drunk, and she also doesn't record him making any statements like that. Really, she records a statement he does make, which was irritated for having to go to Coachella. So with that considered, what about Christina Sexton? She was also there. I have to discount Christina Sexton from this particular scenario. I do agree she does make the comment that he was drunk. The perfect A double snakes was there, but if you didn't hear the rest of her testimony, once you hear it, you'll be very happy that I actually didn't consider what she had to say, because it would have destroyed Amber's entire case if it's not already obliterated in a sense. The same way with Hicksville, that she basically said that Depp was apologizing profusely and saying he was the monster, etc. No one else corroborates this, not even Amber Heard. So in regards with her, it's just weird and coincidental that for this particular incident she goes on to allege that Johnny was knocking over things. No one else sees this. They just assume he was drunk because, again, he's coming in trying to make awkward jokes. That was the actual consensus. She says that Amber comes back downstairs and she could see a bruise on her right cheek. Again, no one claims this. No one, the nurse was there. She doesn't even know. She would note this down. We've seen her do it. Josh would have said something. Raquel, everyone would have seen this. But somehow everybody missed and only Christina Sexton saw it. Not even Amber Heard claimed that she has a bruise on her cheek for everyone to have actually seen at dinner. Based on Erin Borum's account and based on Erin Borum's notes that was written contemporaneously, it's just more reasonable to believe that Rocky Pennington's account as well as Melanie Iglesias' account seems to be the most truthful account. What really happened on this night is it's just more likely that he was already protesting on this, and in came the haymaker, the message to DeppVHeard. Based on all of those accounts and based on everything that's factored, and based on the inconsistencies along with Amber's statements, there is no way that this incident could have happened the way Amber was describing. And we're gonna move right now to last incident.
Assaulting her, yeah. Okay, but this isn't a boyfriend or anything like that. Yes, it could be. Yeah.
For this particular incident, so many things had happened, and we're gonna try our best to present the narrative straight away and not try to piece together everything what everyone has said. So let's begin, because it begins with Josh in this, and the reason why I picked Josh again is because he was noted by the UK judge to be the most credible source. So I want to also use the most credible source in regards to this. Base my old timeline and the whole account and what everyone accounts around Josh, not Depp, not Amber Heard, so that is not biased in any way. Let's begin. Josh actually says that he was with Raquel and Amber Heard in penthouse 1, 8:23 according to metadata. By this time, it was already established that Depp had left the building, as we can see on the elevator footage going out. So he has left the building, and he left the building around 8:28 m. And it is also at this point that Josh had testified to have debolted the door, and Amber Heard was catatonic. Note the times for this. Josh was in penthouse 5 according to the draft email that was written the very next day in regards to what happened the night previously. The reason the draft letter was written because they were going to serve a summons to Depp. So let's go back to where we stopped. Josh was in penthouse 5. Lady goes into penthouse 5 after knocking ever so hard to say let me in, and after Depp again entry to PH5, Josh does leave penthouse 5 with her and Depp and goes into penthouse 1. Also, you have to consider the lack of contemporaneous description of property damage to the police that would trigger note taking per their training. After all, Officer Adam was a trainee. This would have actually been something that he would have been looking for, but there was no contemporaneous description from Josh regarding what the police had said outside of we see all this damage, let's actually go and take him right now. But at the time, in terms of the emails, there was nothing said about the police and what they said until again Josh gave this account in the US trial or the UK trial, whichever one you want to look at it. It was done through Depot. I think with context to understand why the police took no notes whatsoever, because that did go against Depp in the UK case, which it was all hinged on Josh's description of what the property damage and what actually happened. And this further concludes that he did not, in my opinion, he did not actually show the officers the damaged property, as well as there was no detail of the property damage on the 911 call, in my opinion, Raquel Pennington. The Discovery Plus documentary actually says it was Raquel Pennington that placed the second 911 call to the police.
Saturday, May 21, 2016, 20:27 and 27 seconds.
911 emergency, operator 278. Hi, I need to report an assault right now happening at 849 Broadway at the Eastern Building in penthouse 3.
27 and 37 seconds.
Okay, are you there right now, ma'am? No, I'm downstairs. Okay, and I'm sorry, you said 840, was it North or South Broadway?
47 seconds.
I don't know, it's the Eastern Building, downtown LA.
27 and 57 seconds.
Because it's coming up in different areas, we have to be sure.
20,
somebody was being physically assaulted?
Yeah. 7 seconds.
Who? A woman. Who was hurting her? A man. Is that her boyfriend? A man, that's all I know.
17 seconds.
Did you witness it? No, I happen to know that it's happening,
Saturday,
and I just need to
May
remain anonymous.
20,
Okay, you can remain anonymous, ma'am, but I have to be certain what's going on. How do you know this is going on, though?
She
told me. Okay, so this is a friend of yours? Yes. Okay, so what did she say, that this guy was assaulted her or hit her? Physically assaulting her, yes. Okay, but this isn't a boyfriend or anything like that? Yes, it could be, yes.
28 and
okay, is it her boyfriend, yes or no?
Seconds.
Yes. Okay. All right, hold on. Are you between 8th and 9th Street in downtown? Okay,
yes,
exactly. Okay, and I'm sorry, what was the suite number? Penthouse 3. Penthouse 3, okay. And you want us to be anonymous, right?
9
yes,
and 07 seconds.
And your friend, did she relay this information to you via text, or were you talking to her?
29 and 17 seconds.
What's her name?
Saturday, May 20,
Her name, Amber.
2016.
That's all I can tell you. I have to go.
29 and
Okay, well, if that's all we have, and we can't
seconds.
talk to her, there's not much we can do. We'll send what do you mean there's send somebody up, please? I'm going to send someone up, ma'am, but, you know, if we get up there and she denies it or doesn't want to talk to us. Okay, just so you know, okay? So we're coming out to 840 Broadway, Penthouse 3, okay? 849.
The first one has been attested to be from Ayo because he said that he has been the one to have made the first 911 call. It's actually, there's a text message even corroborating that, but the controversy is within the second 911 call. It could have been either Lauren Shapiro or it could have been Raquel Pennington. One question that comes into my head is a result of the conflicting accounts in regards to the police and in regards to Amber Heard. What the police accounts and what Judge Drew's account of taking them through the property, the police have accounted to not seeing injuries and also accounted to not seeing any property damage to the place. The lack of property damage is very concerning to me. The lack of seeing the wine or anything like that is concerning to me. I understand police corruption, but this is at a level that that doesn't even seem realistic. So the questions do come up of what property did you show them? Did you show them Penthouse 3? Because if that was the case, I don't think that's where the bulk of the damage was actually done with Depp. Did you show them Penthouse 5? If so, then why didn't they? How did they miss the damage? I have a lot of questions as to what the police were actually shown, what they saw, and whether they even have a connection to even lie on this level where, end of the day, there is a body cam footage that's available, and I have that to go by, and I also have the near contemporaneous police interviews that happened in, I believe it was June or July 2016, before their divorce proceedings were on the way, and the DVRO charges. So I'm just going to dive into that and see what actually was said and what was the actual account. I am not going to opine on the pictures that was being taken. I'm not going to opine on the injuries. I just think that based on the evidence being provided, based on the contemporaneous accounts from the police, we just have to look at the evidence once again. Just coming out to actually see Officer Tyler and Officer Haddon was the issue, because again, according to their testimonies, they were very coy in meeting Officer Haddon and Officer Science. They did testify to them deliberating for quite a while before coming out. In my opinion, when you see all this, it does suggest that they didn't want to see them at that particular time. To really try and reconcile this, it is the wine spill that I think kind of opens the eyes to what could have been a possibility of fabricating evidence, meaning putting together a hoax. The police not seeing a wine spill in coming in this early. So let's go into the deposition note, and this is from Tyler Haddon mainly, and we'll be crossing over from Tyler Haddon to also Minister Science. Tyler Haddon says that he was assisted to the elevator with Science by a security guard. They walked around the location, observed the patio, etc., and then made contact with someone. The someone here actually turns out to be Josh Drew, as already established. The most important part was the first call detailed an assault, and the second part detailed a non-assault but Tyler Haddon also speaks about a separation and gives coordinates for this, and how they were trying to get her to come out, meaning they were trying to get Amber Heard to come out, saying that they legally had to do it and just see how she's doing. Basically, Josh had returned back into the house, and then she came out 5 to 10 minutes later. This is a great dispensation of time, because we see that they entered the elevator from 9:04. So if this is 10 minutes, this is 9:14. But they were already leaving 3 minutes later. So everything that happens here, I think they just have a bad sense or perception of time, because I do think that all of this could have happened within 2 minutes. It's very possible for this to have happened in 2 minutes. But based on what their account is, this is a more thorough breakdown than what we had for the UK case and what we had for the US case. This is, like I said, it's very contemporaneous. Nonetheless, this idea of 5 to 10 minutes. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say it was likely 5 minutes that they were spent in waiting for them. Likely 3 to 5 minutes, I would say. Put the time at either 9:09 or 9:05, 9:06. Around that time would have been how long they're waiting, on top of the time that we're already waiting for somebody to come out. I think all of these things did happen within a 5-minute period, but it felt long to them. Both Officer Melissa Science and Tyler Haddon described going into Amber Heard's purported penthouse and it being a living area by the entrance door.
I don't know if she apologized or whoever called, but we just got the notification. So we just really like to come in and make sure that everybody's okay.
Without much to even go by, and without speculation, and only with contemporaneous testimony from Science, the house they had gone into would have been penthouse 4, because body cam revealed that it was a long walk to the couch in the living room. This was with the second set of officers. You can see the long walk to go into penthouse 3. However, this is in a massive contrast to Science testimony, who just basically said you just walk in and then you see a large open plan. This is in no way comparable to what was being recorded or what was being shown with the police body cam, which is why that body cam is so valuable. Nonetheless, let's go back to the testimony. We're just inspecting the map. Tyler Haddon says that the penthouse that they were in actually connects to another penthouse. This statement does need further probing, and because it is likely that they went into penthouse 5 from penthouse 4. The only reason why I even believe that is because of the rack closet that was previously damaged on the March incident. Officer Science describes this to a detail and actually says that it was white clothing that she could see all around her, as if it was a wedding or something like that. Also, you can see was white clothing. And also Tyler Haddon corroborates Officer Melissa Science's testimony by saying that Josh said that they sold clothing and jewelry. Haddon describes Amber Heard as being uncooperative, the same with Josh Drew. They won't give details or anything or what the person did to assault. Now, this is very key because this goes against everything that Josh Drew actually said, because what Josh actually said was that he was trying to solicit details from him, saying we have enough to go, all these things that it should go, and he wouldn't give details. Yeah, it does seem to corroborate what Josh is saying. Fine, if you want to, yeah, that okay, fine. Let's say that was the case. Why is it not reflected here that they actually saw that damage to the penthouse? They describe everything else. Why didn't they describe the damage? So if Josh was telling the truth, and if Josh was saying that they actually said to him that they see the damage that is significant enough to go for an arrest, why didn't they just say that at the time? Like I said, they done all this canvassing and then they go away, leave their business card with them, and then into the elevator and leave the premises.
21st, 2016.
Yes.
All right, this is the day.
What were you doing?
I was out. It was evening time. I'm out in the neighborhood, and I'm on my way home. I get a phone call from my friend who wants to know if I want to go out and eat. I said I just ate, but I'm 5 minutes away from the Eastern Columbia building home, and go across the street, get something to eat, and bring it up for takeout, and we'll go upstairs to my joint and we'll eat. And yeah.
Did you meet your friend back at the Eastern Columbia building?
Yeah.
Around what time was that?
9:30.
What happened after you met your friend?
We went upstairs.
Mr. Baruch, when you got upstairs that evening with your friend around 9:30,
Johnny Depp's dying.
What did
He
you
loves
see?
this guy.
We got out of the elevator, and just like in the graph, you make a left and then you turn the corner. When we walked out, I noticed on the floor, there's shards of glass, there's pieces of glass. And so, you know, it's just looking, going, oh, something busted. Could be one of the sconces or something like that. And kept walking.
Can you mark on the exhibit where you saw the broken glass that evening?
Yeah, right there. Right where you could go left or you could go right.
And did you
Welcome
continue
back, Doug.
on
Sorry, I
to
didn't
your
see you there.
penthouse after you saw the broken glass?
Oh, yeah. So we walk around, and then we make the turn. We hang the right past penthouse 5, and we stop right in front of right here.
Why did you stop right there?
Oh, stopped in front of here, penthouse 1, which is it's more right there, because there's this puddle of wine, huge puddle of wine on the floor that's in front of the door, and there's wine, the splashed wine that's dripping down the wall. And so we stopped, and I'm looking at it and going, look at this. Someone must have got hammered. These guys probably had a party. And at that point, right then, as soon as I said that, the door opens up, and it's Josh Drew, who pokes his head out the door, only enough for his head to come out. And he's pretty bug-eyed and looks distraught. And I look at him and I go, what's up with the spilt wine? And I'm figuring I'd get an explanation or whatever. And he says, he looked at me and just said, rough day, had a rough day. And at that point, I got concerned and said to him, because I'm friends with him, you know, I got concerned. I said, hey, you okay? You want me to help you with something? Do you need help? He said, no, it's okay. We got it. And I said, okay. And me and my buddy took off and went into my place.
And what did you do after that?
My buddy ate. I believe he had pizza from across the street, and we talked. We yapped for a while, and you know, could be I could yap, so it could, you know, it could take. We were there probably an hour and change or something like that, and then you know, we're done. So I walked him out and walked down, went to the elevator, walked out, went to the elevator. We went downstairs. I walked him out the door, finished the conversation that we were having. And I said, all right, see ya. And then I went back in. I went upstairs and I went to bed.
Around what time was that you went back into the Eastern Columbia building?
We got there at like around 9:30, and we're talking, I don't know, an hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours, you know, somewhere around 11 o'clock, I would think.
I'll go get the business card from the cops. Yeah, I'm just sitting on another call and he came and gave me, so let me make sure.
We'll just come in and check. We just need to make sure everybody in here is okay and that I don't know if she apologized or whoever called, but we just got another notification. So we just need to come in and make sure that everybody's okay. They're all good? Nobody else is in here?
The other officers came by and checked the apartment and the other apartment as well.
Yeah.
There must have been like a double call.
Who's Amber? Johnny is definitely not here.
I left probably like 2 hours ago.
Yeah. All right, cool. Everything all good then? All right. If you get anything else, call us back. Yeah, good night. Thank you.
Now this call came in at 20:30, which is approximately 8:30 regular time, PM, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then a little bit further down, just 7 minutes later, comes a duplicate call that appears to come from the New York Police Department. So
Yes.
there was roughly 7 minutes of each other, correct?
Yes.
Did you see that when you were looking back at trying to look at the history?
I believe I saw all of this.
Did you see in any of the incident recalls or any of the documentation that you reviewed that the officers, Officer Science and Haddon, reported to the scene, left the scene, closed out, and then another call was made to come to 849 South Broadway?
Yes.
What did you see?
The second call created was the one that we had received.
After you communicated down here,
Both calls are made to NYPD. That means Io made the call. Both of
text
them.
messages, and
She
I'm
was in
now
New
on
He was.
LAPD
Sorry.
11.
Io was in New York. I don't want to misgender Io. I'm sorry.
This is 2222. You now know it's the same incident as yours, and 1A1 handled earlier. Doubt she called back, probably just delayed response, correct?
Yeah, this is just a message from another unit. So, I mean, just because they're basically just sending me a message that it's related, you know, it doesn't mean that it's exactly the same call.
By the time you showed up at the door, Penthouse 3, at the Eastern Columbia building, you already knew that Officer Science had handled this call, and you were just double checking to make sure that the perpetrator wasn't there and that everybody was okay, correct?
I was aware that Officer Science had handled a call at that location earlier, but it doesn't mean that I treat it as if it's handled already. We still have to get there and speak to them and make that determination that it's not a completely new incident.
Yeah.
Okay, and you did that, right?
Yes.
With her, the claim that she won was Johnny Depp's attorney had said that she had staged the crime scene and done all this, right? And there was absolutely no evidence. So you know what you did? They had the camera, they had the police come, they had all this, they had everything, right? It wasn't staged. They called them, they did this. Nothing was staged. One of the cops said, I went there, I looked at her and I was gone. The other one said, I looked there, I didn't see anything, and I was gone. So nobody ever said I saw stuff broken up on the floor. Nobody said it was staged, right? So they said, yeah, by you saying that it was staged and all this stuff, that was false, because the evidence that we see from the body camera, from the cops who were there, from the witnesses who were there at the scene, they didn't say that it was, there was nothing there. So we believe what she's saying in that instance. But on these other instances, we don't believe it.
this is interesting. So the way that the case was set up, this is very interesting. The way you put that, the way you broke that down, it seems to me that the way that this as so if the police did say we went to the house and we searched the whole place and we did find broken glass, we did find all of these things, like not wine on the wall, all those things. We found all of that. If they had said that, yeah, we found that, well, now you're saying that she would have lost the claim, because that was exactly what Adam's statement was. And
Yes, I think she could have lost that claim, because that would have been just an opinion. They staged that, they set that up. But the fact is that there was no evidence of any of the stuff that he was saying, right? Like, all right, so his opinion could be she set that up, she staged it. But they said, well, there was no evidence. There was no wine on the floor. There was nothing. There was nothing there, right? So you saying that she staged it is the false statement, because there's no evidence that anything was staged. Okay. The cops walked around the house. Everybody saw. We see body camera of it. Nothing was staged. There was no wine. There was no broken glass. That was a lie.
Okay.
But but that stuff was there, that actually helps Amber, because then it shows that there was a little fight. So that helps her on that end against Johnny's claims. But then it also helps. But then on her claims, it may hurt her. It hurts Johnny, I think.
No, well, I mean,
if the place is in shambles, then it hurts Johnny, because then that shows that there was some type of struggle and there was thing on the floor and all that stuff. But the fact that stuff wasn't there, it hurt him. It helped her claim, because hey,
so
it was a lie.
So
it's weird.
It was a weird tie, so to speak, because it should count. It doesn't cancel each other out, but it kind of disproves their claim, so to speak. The fact. Actually, no. Now
it does two things. It disproves that there was this fight that she was saying happened for this, right? That we were fighting and we were beating up, right? But then it also disproves Waldman's claim that they staged it.
Yeah.
Because the cops go in and there's no evidence that anything was staged. So if he doesn't say things were staged, then you don't have a problem. But since he said it was staged, and they said, well, there's no evidence of the broken glass and all this stuff, you're saying she staged something, but there's no evidence that all the evidence that you're saying was staged wasn't there. Boom, you're done.
That's a legal conundrum and a half. That is
but it shows you the juror is being fair.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm trying to
Because
say.
all the evidence, because she said, what was Amber's claim? I didn't stage it. And they said, well, based on the evidence that we see, you didn't stage it.
Number 1, did Adam Waldman, while acting as an agent for Mr. Depp, make the following statements? A, Amber Heard and her friends in the media use fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and shield, depending on their needs. They have selected some of her sexual violence hoax facts as a sword, inflicting them on the public and Mr. Depp. B, quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp up by calling the cops, but the first attempt didn't do the trick. The officers came to the penthouses, thoroughly searched and interviewed, and left after seeing no damage to face or property. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and publicist, and then placed a second call to 911. In determining whether any of the statements in the op-ed are false and defamatory as to Mr. Depp, you must read the statements in the context of the op-ed as a whole. This means you may not seize on any one word, phrase, or image, or consider only one particular statement, phrase, or passage in isolation. In determining whether any of Mr. Waldman's statements are false and defamatory, you must read those statements in context as a whole. This means you may not seize on any one word, phrase, or image, or consider only one particular statement, phrase, or passage in isolation.
Let's revisit the objective facts of this Waldman statement. Well, let's deal with the facts of the lawyer and publicist. We already know that on the oath, Amber Heard had actually admitted
to the officers. I refused to cooperate at this time at the advice of my attorney.
Okay. Did you?
Why would your attorney give that
your
advice?
Publicist that night?
No.
In regards to the publicist, she testified in the VA case.
I didn't even have a lawyer. I didn't call my publicist.
However, in the UK, she actually did testify that she did contact a publicist, and the judge even made note of this, but says that it's of not that much importance. That's the lawyer and publicist out of the way and done. Now let's recount all the timeline bit by bit. Remember, as the judge did tell the jury, they're not supposed to take each and every statement and make a determination that they were supposed to look at it in context. So I'm going to try and look at it in context with the evidence available to me. Please note that as I recount all of this, most of this evidence was not brought in for the jury to consider for so many different legal reasons or whatnot. I do not know. But these are the evidence as I have them. It has been proven that the first call was placed at 8:30. Communications does show that Ayo was making attempts to make the call at 8:18. However, on the incident report, it wasn't created or started until 8:30. According to communications again, Raquel was confirming with Ayo whether he had made the call or not. It's objectively true that Ayo was the one that made the call. As you can see, the name is given and is highlighted, but the call that was played for you, that was not specified who the call was. On top of that, they described assault, domestic dispute, etc. That's what it is noted on this particular call. However, in the previous call, it is being described as screaming. Now, let's let common sense prevail for a second, because it's a lot more understandable that a second call being placed in LA describing assault, etc. would warrant a quicker response than another one that's being placed out of state and is only detailing screaming. At 6:15 or 6:35, I'm too sure, let's just say 6 o'clock, Depp was mentioning Bruce Whitkin, saying that he was going to break up with Amber Heard. They arrived, they went up to the apartment and they were communicating with each other. This is Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, because of course the security guards were outside. The conversation takes a different turn because, as Amber Heard testified, they were talking about poop and all of that. This is corroborated by Kevin Murphy. According to the closing submissions, 7:46, there was phone records of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trying to reach out to Kevin Murphy. During this call, Depp had asked him to tell Amber about the incident that Kevin told him a month prior. This would be the poop incident that she was making reference to, but of course she didn't say who she was talking to, but she made it seem as if it was just her and Johnny that were talking about it, which of course isn't the case, because of course Kevin Murphy did not testify in VA, but in the UK he actually does note that they were talking about this. She did tell him that this was an harmless prank, that this was what she was telling him a month ago. Remember, this also corroborates with Starling Jenkins, who says in as much that she told him that it was an horrible practical joke that's gone wrong, basically.
What did Miss Heard say about the defecation in Mr. Depp's bed?
A horrible practical joke gone wrong.
This was the conversation that was transpired on the phone. I don't know the duration of the call. Likely after the call was finished at 8 o'clock, Kevin Murphy messages Sean Bett, to which Sean Bett actually says that Jay is calling you on his phone. So a call between Jerry Judge and Kevin Murphy may have taken place. At this point, we will never know, because Jerry Judge is unfortunately deceased. 8:02, Amber Heard messages Kevin Murphy to say, "I'm shocked. What have I ever done to you, etc. How could you say that?" What could have been said? Well, what was most likely in his witness statement. 8:04, she goes on to say, "I never expected such a thing from you. I never told you I had anything to do with it. I never said anything like that to you, and you know it. I just can't understand and what you have against me that would make you lie against me in such a way. I don't understand, Kevin. I really, really don't." I may have added the extra "really" for emphasis, but that's what she said. Around the same time, two messages were sent to Savannah Macmillan saying that she should call her ASAP. Then messages Raquel, "Can you come over?" and this was at 8:06. Amber then messages Ayo saying, "Could you please call me?" This was at 8:08. The timings is very important because Depp is recorded to have left the apartment at 8:28 p.m. I believe. He took the pictures in regards to her face at 8:23. Raquel messages back at 8:10 saying "now." At 8:11 the phone call was placed, and the duration of the phone call was for 3 minutes and 28 seconds. At this point is all what Ayo has said that would give you a description of what went on.
She put me on speakerphone, so I was talking to both of them. He just stopped by to pick up some of his stuff. And he has a theory that either he wants to ask you about, or and I said, okay, sure. And hello, Johnny, like, you know. And I think it was he said or she said, Johnny thinks that you and I together defecated on his pillow. I think the words were
It never ends.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, forever.
Return of the turd. This is a great witness to use. More proof.
I was laughing, she was laughing, and when I realized that he was serious, I was like, okay, look, you know, first of all, I wasn't there that day. And so he got very agitated by the fact that she and I thought it was funny. And he started to get
I could understand
more and more agitated, and like
there was shit in his
walk
bed.
away
Yeah.
from the phone. He came clomping back down the stairs. I heard like a noise, and then the phone dropped. And he said to her, "Oh, you think I hit you? You think I hit you? What if I peel your hair back?" And then I heard the phone drop again, and then I heard her scream. I remember her screaming. And I hung up the phone, and I called Raquel immediately because I know that she lives one door away, and her and her boyfriend Josh, who's a big dude, would be able to get there the fastest. And I called her, texted her right away, and I hung up with her and immediately called 911.
At 8:15, he does text Raquel, ask her if she's at ECB, etc. 8:18 says he's calling 911. And then Kevin Murphy responds to Amber Heard at this point at 8:20, saying, first of all, I did not even go directly to Jay about our conversation. He was told by someone else. And then he questioned me days later, so I had to answer. I had no knowledge of any of yours, and Jay's conversations about the incident, so it doesn't even make sense for me to just make something up. Furthermore, at the time, I didn't even think it was a big deal that it was being described as a prank. If I was going to fabricate something, it would certainly be better than that. I merely answered his questions without any malice or intention of hurting you or him, for that matter. At this point, it must be established that the person that he found out from was likely Hilda Vargas or Starling Jenkins, but it's not really documented here who, but it is objectively documented that Starling Jenkins found out from Amber Heard. However, the origin of the feces story, etc., was shared in pictorial form from Hilda to Kevin Murphy, the estate manager. They basically called her to just ask, you know, how the cleaning is going, etc. And that's when she divulged onto Kevin about what had happened. This is the genesis around the incident, which gives you a much better idea of what they were talking about on the phone. How it disrupted to what Amber was describing was most likely, and I don't have any other thing to go by outside of Ayo's testimony. We didn't get to hear Kevin's testimony because he wasn't a witness at the US case, but based on Ayo's testimony, it seems like what had set it off was what Depp was planning to do. Most likely after the phone call, he said, "Nah, I'm done with this," and then Amber Heard loses it and then does what she does whenever she's hurt or does anything, and lash out violently. How do I know this? Because she texts both her mother and her dad saying it took 20 minutes, he was crazy, I didn't even tell, more or less raise a finger to him. Based on this, it suggests that she did raise a finger, but she's minimizing that action. I'm just looking at it because there's no need for you to mention his size. She also did say to both her parents, saying, I called him again and I was ready to talk. He was effed up and delusional, claiming some ridiculous ish. I had no clue or know how to make sense of it. Then he started hitting me with the phone and threw me down and hit me in the head. Then that's when Rocky and then Josh rushed in, came right after his split. That's all you need to know. If you text him or involve yourselves anymore in this, in his life, I will never speak to you guys again. That either you understand that and respect that, or you don't. But if you go against my wishes one more time, I will never speak to you again. So that's what she said there, and it is very clear here that those sequence of events, Rocky rushing in, then Josh rushing in, then the police, it does line up to what we had already established, because he was the one that took them to penthouse 1, and then the police arrived at 9:04. But this is the key part, and the reason why I believe that it did not happen the way she's claiming is because she messages Erin Borum, to which she says to Erin Borum, says, it's okay, he was completely delusional, crazy, hit me in the face several times while on the phone to Ayo. She called the cops, which is Ayo was a she at the time. Restraining order will be filled in the AM. Cops just left. Long after he did, of course. Rocky and Josh was here too. It was horrible. So she says this to Erin Borum, but the most important part that she doesn't say to Erin Borum was the fact that he threw a phone in his face. But that's not the only part. The other part is Johnny Depp's side, which was on his text messages in the records here. It says Johnny Depp messages Amber Heard, Raquel, and Josh, most likely in a group text, saying that was it, the last encounter ever. You were already ready to strike. Why did I even come there in the first place to be yelled at by you? I am an idiot. Penthouse 5 is Rocky's studio. You are shameless. I tried to make it work and you just turned more and more into a spoiled brat. All you wanted was to make me effing miserable. While I'm finally here. I will never be able to understand how I fell in love with you. You're not her. I loved you more than anything. I did everything that I could, but you never effing loved me. I was merely convenient for you. I hope our divorce goes as quickly and as possible, and that is as painless as possible. So sorry you were as unhappy with me as you were. Obviously, the purity of whatever was has been gone for a long time. I will miss the moments of beauty and truth. Goodbye, Amber. What the F was I thinking? I wish you all merit. The former him. A message was sent from Amber Heard to Kevin Murphy.
So what we have here is the actual text from Mr. Murphy, and you'll have to take our word for it that these screenshots were taken in the central time zone.
Yeah,
and you'll
confirm that.
see in the image on the right, there's a timestamp that says 11:01 p.m. And that converted to Pacific Standard Time is 9:01 p.m.
Which says, you literally told Johnny in front of me that I told you it was a prank, and now you want to explain? How could you? That was a complete lie, and you know it. You cannot look at me you cannot look me in the eye and tell me we had that conversation. I cannot believe you. What did I ever do? The first police officers were summoned at 8:46. Josh Drew went down to give Depp's phone to Kari Jerge. At 8:57, the officers came into the Eastern Columbia building. Josh returns back to the apartment at 8:01. As we have established, the text message was received by Amber Heard, was sent by Amber Heard to Kevin Murphy at 8:03. The police officers, they walked through the apartment, they looked everywhere, did not see damages, wine spill, anything. They did not see any of that, and they met up and spoke with Amber Heard, Josh, etc., which we have already gone through. They left their business card at 9:19 according to the picture and data. Then they left the premises at 8:24. In all that time, Isaac Baruch came into the ECB at 9:30, as he testified to. At 9:30, what had happened was he came in and saw a fresh bottle of wine on the walls, on the floor, etc. He thought someone was hammered. He saw broken glass, etc. He thought someone was hammered. This is very key here, because he did not. The broken glass, that's inconsistent with what Amber Heard and the pictures, etc., like of Amber's evidence, not the police. Amber's evidence, because Amber never testified to there being broken glass, etc. in the hallway. I've never heard that testimony. Believe me, I've really looked into this. I've never heard that testimony. It's always been the penthouse 5 was damaged, penthouse 3 that there was damage in penthouse 3. That's all. That's what she was alleging. But for Isaac to see the broken glass on the hallway is very strange, because again, he's not in the penthouses, it's not anywhere. But again, this detail was not picked up by Josh to even tell in the interpretation, was not picked up by Raquel, was not picked up by Amber at all. Like, so I don't know at this point. But he sees all this at 9:30 and it was fresh, etc. Josh didn't divulge what it was, and they went off. The second set of officers arrived at 10:26. Isaac Baruch and his friends went out with the pizza box that they had most likely to dispose of it. They went out at 10:30, around that time, saw each other off, blah blah, says bye, goes back to his apartment. 10:35, officers left. At 10:35 roughly, they intersect and they left. All of this, it was recorded in Josh Drew's email the very next day, that basically details that no damage, by the way. It doesn't detail that there was even any property damage. It doesn't detail that there was any of this. And on top of all that, as Camille pointed out, one of the pictures was the same.
Okay. And do you see that you testify that defendant's exhibit 512, which is on the screen?
Yes.
Is a picture of the downstairs of the main apartment?
That's correct.
Yeah. You've seen this photograph as well, right?
I have.
Side by side.
On the third day of your direct testimony, you testified that this photograph reflected spilled wine in Penthouse 5 on May 21st, 2016, didn't you?
Again, I don't know, because I'm looking at a partial picture of a floor. So unless you remove the metadata you've covered up, we could then tell. If you,
I didn't cover it up, Your Honor.
Could we unredact
Your Honor,
them so we could get context?
And defendant's exhibit 512 and 725 seem to be different versions of the same picture, don't they?
That's correct.
Okay. So which is it? Which one was taken on December 15th, 2015, or May 21st, 2016?
If you remove the redacted metadata, you can find out. It's right there.
Or if you're telling the truth, you would know.
Forget the same pictures for her face, that's fine. Well, it's not fine. Pictures are visually different on the black and white. What is going on?
Mr. Baruch, can you describe for the jury the events of the next day, May 22nd, 2016?
Yes. It's my birthday. May 22nd is my birthday.
Aw.
Now he's looking
Wake
at the jury.
Happy birthday.
I end up texting. So it was around noon time. Amber turns to me and she says, Johnny came by last night. He got violent. So I'm changing the locks on 1, 3, and 5. There's lights in the hallway, but we're standing in an open doorway that the wall is all windows. Sunlight's coming through, and you could operate in this.
A lot of light.
That
You could
much light.
see everything.
Did you notice any marks on her face when you were speaking with her?
No,
Ooh.
Did you see
No
any
marks on her
bruises?
face.
no,
Did you see any redness?
no,
Did you notice any swelling?
no,
No.
Did it look like Ms. Heard was wearing any makeup?
no.
Had you seen her wearing makeup before?
Yeah.
And you had seen her not wearing makeup before?
Yeah, I've seen, like I said, with the face mask, doing a face mask, no makeup, hanging around, waking up in the morning, no with makeup, glammed out to go out. And it's 3.5 years of seeing her in different forms. Johnny and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be in town," because he's not staying at the Eastern Columbia building.
And what happened after you had that conversation with Mr. Drew?
We left the apartment and we go walking back towards Penthouse 1. And as I'm walking back, I say to Amber, as I'm walking up, "He hit you?" And she goes, "Yeah, he threw a phone at me and hit me." And I'm looking, because I had just seen her 2 feet away, and I'm going, "Where?" and she puts her head out. She puts her face out like that for me to look at her, the right side of her face. And I'm looking, but at that point also I'm looking, and I turn around, get on the other side. We're in the doorway. So I'm on this side with the light shining this way from the doorway with the lights above, but the sunshine. And she's got her face out like this, looking, to show me. And I'm looking, and I inspect her face. I'm looking at her forehead. I'm looking at the side of her eye. I'm looking at her cheek. I'm looking at her chin. I'm looking at the other side of the face. I'm looking at the whole thing. And I don't see anything. I don't see anything I don't see a cut, a bruise, swelling, redness. It's just Amber's face that she's going like this and showing me. So I'm not seeing anything. I back up and I'm making a joke. I make a joke going, well, I don't see anything, but maybe all the beauty from one side of your face to the other side of the face is outshining everything.
Let's start with the makeup.
Okay.
Okay. You're aware that Ms. Heard has both modeled and been an actor and had been for many years before you met her, correct?
I knew she acted. I didn't know she was a model.
Okay. Were you aware that she had a commercial agreement with L'Oreal, for example?
When, now or back then?
What's your knowledge?
I don't know any of that.
Okay. Have you ever been with Ms. Heard when she has put makeup on?
I've been in the room, yeah, when makeup was getting put on her, yeah.
Have you ever been with Ms. Heard in her bathroom or anything when she's applying her makeup in the morning?
No.
Okay. Are you familiar with Amica cream?
What is it?
Amica?
Amica?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Do you know what type of foundation Ms. Heard uses?
Oh, come on.
No. Do you know what type of concealer Ms. Heard uses?
No.
Do you know what type of tint Ms. Heard uses?
I have no clue.
Do you know what types of powders Ms. Heard uses?
You guys called it about the testimony or the cross on makeup.
When you're saying that you didn't notice any makeup, would it be fair to say that you yourself are not familiar with what type of makeup Amber Heard
You can
uses
still
on a
tell
daily
if somebody's
basis?
not wearing makeup in person.
And he's an
I don't know
artist
what
that
she
pays
uses
attention
on a
to
daily
detail.
basis.
You said that she wore makeup, so that could have changed a bit. So I want to ask this. If you're already wearing makeup before something hits you or, before you get punched, would the makeup that you're wearing impact that in any way? Would it change things? What would happen?
It depends on if the impact was enough to wipe off some of the makeup. But I've got makeup on right now. If you punched me in the face, the makeup can't cover up swelling. You probably would see a little bit of redness. If you hit me in a way where it kind of scythed and wiped off my makeup, I would expect to see the beginning of some bruising. So like the bluish, purplish kind of phase of a bruise. And it really entirely depends on if the impact removed some of the makeup. But point of what I'm saying is, if she's wearing makeup and she got struck in the face, there is a possibility that some of that makeup is covering up the beginning stages of the bruising. But what you don't see in this picture to any significant degree, which if someone punched you in the face or like full force threw something at your face, you should see that's a fair bit of force. And as a result, you should see a moderate to like reasonable degree of visible swelling. And what you don't really see is asymmetric swelling of the right side over the left side. Could that be the lighting and the angle? Maybe. But based on this picture, you just don't see the degree of swelling that I would expect to see for a patient who's been hit in the face. And again, this is just my experience, my opinion, having seen people who've been hit in the face for the last I don't know, 10 plus years.
Understood. This is 11:53. I would say 3 to 4 hours after the event. What do you think of this?
So both above the eye on the upper eyelid and kind of circumferentially around, and then also underneath the eye on her right, the downside of our screen, there's some redness. I don't see any cuts or scrapes, and I don't see any bruising. So it's, and also I don't see significant swelling. So it's really hard to know why that redness is there. But there's, see redness around her eye.
Okay. So what do you think could have potentially caused the redness around the eye?
You know, it's hard to see her other eye. So I don't know about you, but when I cry, my eyes get red and puffy, like kind of all around my eyes. So it could be kind of a host of things. The thing that's interesting, the thing that's actually relatively interesting about this is all of those surfaces of her eye are at a different depth away from something that, even if you hit her from the side or you hit from the front, if it's a fist, really, it's hard to imagine was that from a cell phone? Because a cell phone is not going to contact all of those parts of her face at once, because there's different depths to where those surfaces lie.
Yeah. When you say was that from a cell phone, what do you mean, like the picture was taken from a cell phone, or the cell phone hit her?
I'm questioning whether it was something that was a flat surface that struck her face, because it's a little bit harder to produce that pattern if it's a flat surface that's striking the face.
Okay.
Or the area around the eye. It would have to be something that was curved, I would think, that could make that kind of a mechanism.
Now, she submitted this in for evidence, but she never used it in trial. But you can see what's happened with the eye. What do you think is going on here?
Yeah, this is from the same incident that we were just looking at.
My best guess would be this is probably the next day.
Absent any kind of concrete context, it's really difficult to say. But if we assume that this is a picture that's either at the same time as the pictures we were just looking at, where she's got kind of that C-shaped redness around her eye. Here's what I would, and again, I come from a place of like objective curiosity. The part to me that does not necessarily make any sense, in that initial picture that you just showed me, the redness was on the upper eyelid and around here. By gravity and also common sense, how do you get redness now up above the eyebrow from the same mechanism? The redness doesn't go this way. The redness usually will kind of stay and then resolve over a couple of days, and then any bruising that develops in the same area will kind of by gravity sink lower. But this does not look consistent with the areas of redness in the last picture that we looked at, because this is redness that's up above the eyebrow now.
Okay.
So my statement would be, I'm not sure what caused this, but it does not necessarily, I would not assume that this is consistent with the last picture, because the area of redness or early bruising is in a different place.
Understood. This picture caused me a lot of headaches as well, because I was like, like, you know, she's introduced a lot of pictures with murder on it that she said that, you know, is crucial to her case, but this one has no data. So I was like, it's a bit strange, but okay, it's your prerogative, I guess. Moving on to the 27th, the infamous day, you know, and she is now in the courthouse, and she has
so let's zoom in on her face on that.
Yeah, let me,
because there's a piece of this that brings me some question and some concern. So as you get in closer, initially what we saw was redness up here and up around the under eye skin. Redness is from focal trauma. It's from a cut or a scrape or from a slap to the face. Redness doesn't move by gravity. Bruising, the blood that's underneath the skin, will sink with gravity. So like if you hit me here, that blood and the bruising is going to settle out down this direction. So what I would question, what brings me pause, is why is there now focal redness right on the kind of the middle part of her cheekbone on the right, when before it was all up here, but you don't see anything up here anymore. You just see this. And that to me is very small. It's very focal and is more consistent. Well, let's just say this. That's less consistent with what I would expect to see in somebody who's taken either a flat or a rounded surface to the face. You also, interestingly enough, don't see really any swelling. Really, all you see is kind of pinpoint redness, which again is not the typical pattern that you see of the evolution of people who've been punched or kicked or hit in the face.
Okay. So
honestly, that looks a little bit like a zit to me, or like an injection site or something. That doesn't look like what a typical facial bruise after a facial assault looks like.
From the 22nd of May 2016 to 26th of May 2016, these were the communications to contextualize the events that took place.
Start with the makeup.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever been with Ms. Heard when she has put makeup on?
I've been in the room, yeah, when makeup was getting put on her, yeah.
Have you ever been with Ms. Heard in her bathroom or anything when she's applying her makeup in the morning?
No.
Okay. Are you familiar with Amica cream? Amica?
Amica?
Yes. Do you know what type of foundation Ms. Heard uses?
You guys called it about the testimony or the cross on makeup.
Now, the first time that you saw her, which was May 22nd,
yeah,
Ms. Heard was there. Were you aware she was on her way to somebody else's birthday party? Not yours, but somebody else's that day?
No.
Okay. Can you tell me what her hairstyle was that day?
It was just down.
Down as in?
Just regular. She has it up now. She's got some kind of hairstyle.
Right now it's up, then it was down.
She was head down, regular,
She's got
no
it up.
makeup.
She had it down.
When you say no makeup, you don't know.
I'm a
she was
simple
not
guy.
wearing makeup, correct?
For a fact?
Correct.
No.
And you don't know whether she had applied Amica cream, correct?
I don't know what Amica cream is, okay?
And
I didn't even know what Amica cream is.
We had to place hair over my eye to cover my black eye. I would like to finish my answer if that's okay.
Thank you.
I remember this photograph because we had to place hair over my eye. The eye typically get hit on, because of the nature of, I guess would it be a right hook? But I specifically had hair placed over my eye to cover a bruise and swelling and scratches on that side of my face from the cell phone incident when Johnny smashed a cell phone into my face. So my friends here in this picture took great effort to make sure hair was covering my eye as to not set off media attention and media storm.
What strikes me as odd is why she explains that she covers her bruises with makeup, but at the same time is also explaining contemporaneously that she was covering using her hair to cover the face. Isn't it already covered by the makeup?
Okay. Did you tell any other person or claim to any other person that Johnny had been violent with you prior to May 21?
Yes.
Who?
Amanda de Cadenet, after she asked me.
When did she ask you?
She asked me on several occasions.
When was the last time prior to May that she asked you?
I can't remember a specific date that she asked me, but I certainly confirmed it at her birthday party when she caught me trying to put makeup over my bruises.
testified
have because I was
yesterday
wearing
that you sought
makeup
a
is the
temporary
implication.
restraining order on May 27th, 2016 because you wanted to change your locks. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes, I do.
Those locks were to the penthouses at the Eastern Columbia building, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
You changed the locks to the penthouses on May 22nd, 2016.
I attempted to.
That's why you felt comfortable having James Franco over the evening of May 22nd, 2016, Ms. Heard?
I do not know when James came over.
But he did come over.
Can we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 304, which is already in evidence, and play
Her and
from
James making out in the
254
elevator.
through 439?
Video of him. Yep.
Johnny smiling.
He knows what's coming. I wanted James Franco to make a cameo in No Way Home, but this might be better.
For Amber, it's all the way home.
If you get in a public elevator and you're barefoot, man, you are not getting in my bed.
Here we go.
She's barefoot. I'm done. Barefoot in an elevator.
Yeah.
He's backing up into him.
With the head down.
Jesus Christ, they're savages.
It's like a beep, beep, beep. Back up. And then like a slight magnet. Donk.
Oh. Little nuzzle.
So sweet.
Does that look intimate? That's what platonic friends do all the time, right?
James Franco should just tweet, "Yeah, I did it."
That's you and Mr. Franco on May 22nd, 2016, right, Ms. Heard?
That's correct.
You're nasty.
You're taking him up to the penthouses, aren't you?
That's where I lived, yes.
And it's past 11 p.m. at night, isn't that right?
I'm not quite sure of the time it looked like that.
She got caught creeping. Look at Johnny smiling. Johnny's like, I knew it. I knew this creeping.
You knew Mr. Depp was out of town the week of May 21, 2016.
Oh my God, this hurts me
I
for
don't
him.
know what I knew of his schedule at the time.
You knew Mr. Depp was out of town on May 27th when you went to get the domestic violence restraining order, isn't that right?
I don't know if I knew that at the time.
Oh, really?
You knew Mr. Depp was heading out on a European tour that week, isn't that right?
I'm not quite sure what I understood of his schedule at that time.
You knew he wouldn't be back for weeks, right?
No, that's incorrect.
What did Mr. Franco do on the elevator before laying his head on your shoulder?
This isn't going to help you. The side of my face and responded to what he saw.
Can you describe what you saw in that video?
Yes, I can. It was a video of Amber and Whitney waiting at the elevator, a mezzanine level, coming from the garage, obviously, and waiting for the elevator. And Whitney does this to Amber. Pow! And hits her, like faking hitting her in the face. Going, pow! And then they start laughing.
Did Ms. Heard react at all in that video to the fake punch that you observed Whitney throw?
Yeah, she's laughing. After doing it, they both, laughing at each other, with each other.
And next to you is a woman named Jody Gottlieb, right?
Yes.
Jody Gottlieb
Face of a
was your
woman slapped
publicist.
with a
And
macro.
dear friend.
Well, you did bring your publicist to the courthouse with you on May 27th, 2016, didn't you?
I sure did. I'm a public figure. I brought my publicist in case it blew up. In case. And
You
I'm
actually
glad
had
I did.
alerted TMZ that you would be filing a TRO against Mr. Depp that very
No,
day,
I did
didn't
not.
you?
No, I did
The
not.
one day you didn't bother to wear makeup to cover up the mark on your face.
I did not call TMZ or any other news source or paparazzi source. No one.
Now ask yourself, if this was a smear campaign by an abuser, was it done to obfuscate and suppress facts? Or was it done to hide bad behavior by going on the offense so that when it's too late, their victim will not be believed? Or was it the alternate option, which was reactively for exposing them for being an abuser that they are? Was it done so that it can further complicate the details of whatever has been disclosed to the public, that those details are forgotten? No matter what the motives may be, one thing is certain: the facts are out, and more are coming out each and every day in regards to this case. Whether we like it or not, a smear campaign had been enacted in regards to this particular case. Hopefully the person behind the campaign could be identified, as this is the playbook being revealed. This is the anatomy of a smear campaign by the abuser.
Johnny Depp is throwing himself back into work after his estranged wife, Amber Heard, accused him of domestic violence. Depp's mother died a little over a week ago. Heard claims he went on a drunken tirade, smashing an iPhone into her face. The LAPD tells ABC News it responded to a complaint at the couple's home last weekend, but officers say there was no evidence of any crime. The actress was in court Friday, submitting these photos that she says show the bruises on her eye after the alleged attack. The judge granted her a restraining order. Spotted by paparazzi Saturday after a legal meeting, she was all smiles.
This is a picture of you on May 28th, 2016, right, Ms. Heard?
I don't know when this was taken.
This is the day after you obtained the domestic violence restraining order against Mr. Depp, right?
I have no idea when this image was taken. I did not take it.
There's no bruise on your face in this picture, is there?
Again, I don't know when this was taken, and also I'm outside. I was obviously wearing makeup. I have no idea when this was taken, so I have no idea.
Zoomed it in on her
Refresh your
face.
recollection. This is an article dated May 30th, 2016, right, Ms. Heard?
That's what it says, yes.
And this article contains the same photograph of you and Miss Pennington we were just looking at, yes?
Yes, I see that.
And the article is entitled, Amber Heard Smiles as She Puts Arm Around Friend One Day After Getting Restraining Order Against Johnny Depp. Is that what the title says?
I know that's what the title says, yes.
There's no bruise on your face in this picture either, right?
I disagree. If it is taken when you represent it was taken, then obviously there's a bruise on my face. It's covered by makeup, as per usual.
That's no makeup. I'm sorry. That is not makeup.
I said, unless you file, and you don't have to file, and I was like trying to explain to you my limited understanding of the.
My filing did nothing, and all it's required. It is required to acknowledge you've been filed against, and you file it as well. They won't settle. Your agents won't. Your lawyers won't settle, baby. I'm telling you.
We want to mediate. We even have a mediator. We even found mediator and everything. Like that was all worked out. So the thing that Laura didn't agree to was she did not want to agree to a mutual gag order. 8 minutes or 5 minutes after your team filed for you, which is a move they didn't have to make, then it was picked up by TMZ. It was given to TMZ within 5 minutes of it being filed. And Laura went and did it at the very opening of the business day, on top of a stack of paperwork. That is the opposite of keeping it private. And I just want you to know the whole truth.
Do you have proof of that?
Yeah.
Well, good, excellent. Well, I didn't know anything about her filing to TMZ or any like that. She knows what I wanted.
Media members will tip each other off and let each other know that something is happening. However, I can promise you that that was not the case from my side, because I went there fully expecting that I was exclusive, quote unquote, which is that I was the only one, right? And I slowly figured out that was not the case. So
you had knowledge ahead of time that there was a bruise on one side of her face or the other?
So yeah, Morgan let me know that there was a bruise on her face and that I should be prepared to stand on the right side of her when she exits the courthouse. It isn't uncommon for them to leak information so that the press is prepared to look for something because they want to manipulate it. It's unusual that for something like this, for domestic violence, just because, or alleged domestic violence, just because that is so personal, that would imply that the person with the bruise on their face has to be a willing participant in letting the media know this information. I think it was pretty clear from my standpoint that she was okay with it, which is kind of unusual. And this parking garage is used primarily for the police, for judges, for lawyers, but they also use it for celebrities. And I know this because when I was covering the Free Britney hearings for Britney Spears' conservatorship case against her father, she would use this underground exit, which would lead her to the parking garage underneath, to this parking garage over here, and you can just have a car waiting for you so that nobody up here will ever see you. Not once can I remember a situation where a big-time celebrity or a big-time case where that high-profile person was not offered the opportunity to use one of these exits where they can just avoid the media altogether. Up here is generally known, commonly known. Every member of the media knows this. If you are looking to talk to the media or to do a press conference or to be photographed in any way, this is the exit that you use.
Do you think Amber knew everyone was outside the courthouse before she exited the courthouse?
Yes, I think that she was aware. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't discussed as an option for them and her people, her camp, to choose another exit. Because it just so happened to be the exit with all the reporters.
Nothing was on the offense. Everything's been a defensive move because I'm being called a liar and a gold digger. And I'm not lying about any of this, and I am not after a dime of your money. And you know what? I was told by Laura after the first thing, the reason that I stupid clicked I'm seeking spousal support because I was told that that was my only option because no divorce attorney would ever say not and then lose all rights to everything. Laura Wasser had proposed that I leave, not proposed, I'm sorry, said I would have to leave. I'd be kicked out, be evicted. So Brock and Josh and everybody evicted within 21 days.
No, but I told you. Last time we spoke, I told you that you were fine. You stay there 2, 3, 4 months, whatever. Just figure it out. We'll figure it out. Amber, the abuse thing is we've got to deal with that. Yeah. We've got to deal with that,
Amber. I don't
Amber.
have any way of my credit. It's my credibility. You know what? I don't.
And why did you put that out there?
I did not. You forced me. Your team forced me to by going on the offense.
I didn't force you to.
From the very beginning. I promise. Look up the timelines to these things. Everything is. Forget it. Forget it. You don't believe what I say. You don't believe what I say. But I did not choose this. Every step of the way has been an offense.
I did not put this anywhere. I didn't. Let me talk to the team.
The same security guard who, by the way, have said to me multiple times that I was going to get killed. And once, on accident, I had the phone recording out on the table from one of our fights where we're, doing the thing where we record it. And we finished, walked away, whatever. And I kept Jerry Judge on making calls. After that, which I didn't even know I had done, I had left my phone out on the table in the same room we were having a fight, and then left the room. And then Jerry's on the phone. It's him saying that he did not acknowledge any physical violence. You have no idea how bad this is going to be for every single person.
saying that as we speak. I'm saying David's still on, I didn't talk to John, so you know what's going on. She made a quick incident, she can't trust me. Because when I told Christine told history that she called the foul man, and told him John, but she's listening, she wants to go where he is, she knows he's gone, she thinks she's going to do something else like that.
And this was today, by the way, not just paying anything. It is.
What's this process that we have? What's the process that we have? When you start from over there yourself. She's upstairs and all that. She hasn't given me a final answer that she wants. She doesn't want to go anywhere. She wants to stay here and see it. What she's told me to me, and she keeps crying, she's told me now. She's made it quite clear to me. She said, I thought I trusted you, but I don't. Because you told Christy and I called you on your fat armor. And I said, yes, I did. Last couple of weeks, I think his sister said that Jerry told me, but that's what she just said. I said, Emma, you said not to. But I'm not going to let you. I told you I'll never let you to go on like a job. So, and she is talking to me. She's obviously crying up and down, fucking me. But I've seen you in bed. I've never seen this bad. And when I say he wrecked this place, I mean it's wrecked. There's windows broken. There is a TV. I think she did it. It was a cup thrown. It missed. There's been bottles thrown. She admits to me. She threw a bottle on me. She did it first. She admits to me that. And I said to her, she also said to me, she said, I said, really beautiful things to do in my temple. He was shouting out, screaming out. She has scratches on her left arm, which Debbie told me about. I've looked at it, and I've seen those scratches before on other people. And as far as I'm concerned, they're self-inflicted. I'm convinced of that. They're self-inflicted. At the moment, I'll do a deal with the devil. God has laid it down because we'll be selling the car to kill her. To turn around and go legal on this to get this whole thing calmed down. You know, I've been hurt, I've been hurt, he's trying to say, I can understand her. And she admitted also that she hit him first. She actually hit him in the face. But he has a small burn on the right hand side of his face, which she says, I see that yesterday. Which she said on Friday, he got a cigarette and burnt his own face with the cigarette because it was so bad. By the way, we have now found a piece of flesh on the top of his finger. Okay? It's packed in ice, it's on its way back to, I've always spoken to Martin. It's packed in ice, it's on its way back now in a bag wrapped up with heart. He just thinks it's John's medication. And I'm still talking to her. Well, the honest with you, she was responding to me. She breaks down in 5 minutes. She's made it quite clear that he has told me that over the last 2 weeks, I told him, she said, I have stood up for you so many times, but how would you let me down by telling Christy that I can't go a fat old man? And I said, well, I did. Because I'm not the money for you, I'm not the money for you. And then 5 minutes later, she said to me, do you think he knows me? I said, here you go. Christy said, no, it has to be a broken heart. It has to be someone strong in case she kicks off. Okay? So, we are going to be leaving here tonight to go and stay in a hotel. I've got cars coming around just in case. Go to the bar, you break everything in the last week. That's really all I know. She went over within 2 hours. He took 10 ecstasy tablets. And still, once this is over, it's not the time to talk about it, but that's what I'm saying. If someone keeps supplying, He's got an open house. And I was afraid she could have that for she's house. On top of that, he came picking her up, and trying to walk out. He stopped and didn't walk in and come up back. Because she said he didn't want me to smell it. When I turned around and told him he was drinking, and he couldn't calm down, he then started drinking back to him. And then he picked up one of the bottles and threw it through the window. If you believe it now, when this information is over to me, everything is out.
There's also Travis. There's Travis coming to get me. There's Travis having to come up and pull me away from you.
Yeah, but that's you saying that to Travis. That's different from Jerry Judge saying going on record saying he never witnessed any violence, and then me having a phone call conversation recorded of him.
Do you believe all this, Amber? Do you believe all this?
Oh, yes, yes.
You believe I'm an abuser. You believe I'm an abuser.
In May, in December, in April.
Do you believe you're an abuser?
No.
Do you believe you abused me physically?
Do I physically believe? I mean, do I believe I physically abused you?
Yes.
Do you know I'm 115? Well, not anymore, but I was 115 pounds. I'm a 115-pound woman, and you're going to say I have the capacity to abuse.
That's not the question. That's not the question.
Have I ever been able to knock you off of your feet?
You started.
Off your balance?
You started these things.
You're going to get up on the stand, Johnny, and say she started it? Really? I have never been able to overpower you. That's the difference between me and you.
Why did you try?
And that's the difference that the whole world and the jury and the judge will see, is that there is a very big difference between me and you. And all of the people that have come out and lied on your behalf, that I can prove have lied, whether it's via text messages that can be authenticated by third-party forensic, electronic forensics experts, or if it's audio, if it's photos, there's so much evidence. It blows. There is no reason. There is no reason that all this had to come out. But every step of the way, I mean, here, I didn't say anything about security not doing their job or doing their job, and they came out with it. That was a proactive. You not understand that there's a proactive step. I had to respond.
You cannot automatically. You cannot think that it's just my side. You're killing me. Your people are trying to kill me. You've turned me into a. My boy has to go to school. My boy goes to school and has kids go. So your dad's a wife beater? You don't think about that, Amber.
You don't think that's also my family and all the death threats that me and every single person in my immediate circle of friends and family is getting also matters? And you don't think I
Death threats?
You people put this out. You didn't want this out. Why security come on the record and lie? Then why go? That's a proactive measure. Then why did you're the work to try to get the file for divorce period at all? Second, why did she have to go and get it from TMZ? Why, if you wanted it private, is TMZ being fed information literally by Laura Walker and Marty Singer every step of the way? My arrest records? What's next in the media? The rumors that I was a stripper? Of course I can expect that next. I've known every step of the way, every single step of the way, everything you'd give them. You don't think
I'd give them. That's it. I'd give them. I'll see you in court. No, I'll see you in court. I will see you in court. I never said that. I never told anyone that. You trusted me with that, and I've never told anyone that. And you know what, Amber? This is me. This is me saying, I tried. And thank you, and I will see you in court. You don't want to make nice? I'm trying. But you know what? I loved you for so many years, but you know what? You didn't exist. You don't exist. You're not there. You were a made up thing in my head. And I can't believe you're doing this to me.
Stop.
Can't believe it.
There's no need to be cruel on top of it.
You've been nothing but cruel, and I'm going to court with you.
I'm just sitting here defending myself, and it makes you so angry.
No, you're f***ing hug. Get it from Elliot Spitzer, whoever that tit is.
You did it from Michelle.
I will.
No!
No!
I love
You love me?
I do love you.
Yeah, you're showing it real well.
I love you. I miss you.
You love
And
something.
remember when we talked yesterday
I
about
don't know what you love, but you don't love me.
I used to love you so much.
Yeah, you used to. You know what?
I love you so much.
Well, keep it in past tense, kid. Write it off as a mistake. I'm a mistake.
Would you like this? Is this how you want it to end?
I don't want
Is this how you want it to end? I don't understand. Is this what you want?
No. Oh no, a hug will save it all. All this, everything we just
I just wanted to touch you.
Really? After all this you just said?
I just wanted to give
After
you
all
a
this
hug.
you
Yes,
used me up, you want to
please,
touch me?
please stop, please. Please stop. Please, I just wanted to hug you and say bye. I didn't want it to end
No,
fast.
we did that last night. It's fine. That was good enough.
I don't know what else to say.
No, because I'm nothing to you, and I will always be nothing to you.
Calm. Calm.
What? You're not my shrink.
Your head's my heart. Please just feel my heart. Please.
No.
Please.
No, deal with your own.
Oh, no. Please see each other for me.
No, we'll never see each other again.
Please.
We won't even met. Don't take my glasses off.
Please.
You don't like looking at not my eyes? You will not see my eyes again.
Depp's team had released only 2 articles showing her summons for the penthouse, what she was requesting from the divorce, months after the relentless onslaught by Amber Heard that was already seen by that very public breakup. This was her justification of putting the details out there. She also said that she is worried that they are going to release more and more details about her past. This includes the stripper past. And after speaking to his team, there was no more press in regards to Amber Heard. Just those 2 articles exist. That's it. However, Amber Heard, fearing the worst, as she has always done, as we have seen through the preponderance of evidence, if it's not enough, she goes on to release more and more information about Depp. Till today, even through the court case, even through the media onslaught that was going on contemporaneous at the time, there is no mention of her being a stripper until the unsealed documents. No one knew that she was a stripper until the unsealed documents. And even then, it's still not pertinent news. Without the op-ed being written, no one would have ever even known, and it wasn't even something that Depp has sought after in order to do this. All of this is just what happens in litigation, something he was trying actively to actually avoid until enough was enough, and she had just had to stop talking about him because he had moved on and she just couldn't do the same. Where Depp has kept his private life private, everything had come out into the open. And I'm not talking about 2020 or 2022. I am simply saying, let's cast our minds back to 2016 when this Game of Thrones had actually kicked off. The only way of proving who this smear campaign was orchestrated by.
Can't use Marty Singer anymore.
Yeah, you shouldn't. He's crooked.
Is he crooked? How'd you find that out?
I knew it before anyway.
You knew before anyway.
It's fucked up.
He's because why? He found Whitney selling people on magazines.
He didn't find it. I mean, well, I don't know.
There was tests in regards to the Stephen Deutsch's text. The results of this test and its authenticity was actually reported and broken by People magazine. This is the alleged source that was being fed through all the media attention in regards to their marriage, in regards to the Doodles text, all of these things. It was happening exclusively through Entertainment Tonight and exclusively through People magazine. And it turned out from the unsealed documents that there was no message like this on our phone. So what was that investigation that they decided to put out into the public about? Why did they retract the article? All of these questions are up in the air, but at least we know who has been playing the media game and who has been trying to get this information out there.
We had a campaign planned against Johnny from the beginning. So she got caught releasing, telling TMZ where she was going to be at the courthouse. But it was a great illustration, though, of how media really works.
Yeah.
Because this is how it works. It works through influence and through power.
It's interesting to me, given the verdict, some of the reporting seems to think that, like, this was a grave miscarriage of justice. Jury watched the evidence, okay? They heard from both parties in the case. I don't know how much more you need because they were both able to answer questions and tell their respective stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, by the long arm of the media, the smear campaign was complete.